It really is that phone, man. It really is. Your parents been telling you it since you were a kid, and you're always just like, nah, you know, it ain't the phone. But now, as you're getting older, you know, it's becoming a big part of your life. And you look at it, and all this social media and all this other stuff, and scrolling on your phone all day long, and you're scrolling through your feed, and you're looking at all these different things. And, maybe you're watching YouTube, maybe you're looking at Instagram, maybe you're texting friends, maybe you're playing video games or something, whatever it is. You're using your phone, and you're sitting on your phone all day. That's not good for you, man. It's not good. And it's crazy to think about, but the average American is on their phone for more than 5 hours a day. And if you think about that, even if you're just on your phone for 2 hours a day, just 2 hours, you would be sitting there for over the span of a week. If you did that every day, and you just sat there and you scrolled on your phone, that's going to be 14 hours. And you're sleeping 8 hours a day. So already, just by being on your phone for 2 hours straight a day, you're already losing almost a whole day off of your week. Just by sitting on your phone, just by scrolling. You're losing an entire day of time, nearly. So let that sink in, Think about that. And you could be spending time with your family. You could be doing all this other stuff. You could be acting like you were when you were a kid. Think about when you were a kid, man. And wake up a little bit. You're watching this video right now. Maybe you were on your phone. You're probably on your phone, maybe on your computer. But regardless, you clicked on this video for a reason. And I'm here to tell you, why. Because you need to take a break, man. You need to just shut your stuff off for a while and just go and be out in nature. All this stuff is screwing with your mind. You're seeing all these different things on social media. Depending, it can be a really good thing, but only a small percentage of all that stuff you're looking at is really, good. It's beneficial. A lot of that stuff, if I ask you right now to repeat to me, say 10 things. That's not that hard, right? Because you probably scrolled through, I don't know, 20, 30, 50, 100, maybe even 300 videos today. Probably on your shorts feed or something like that, or TikTok or whatever it is, or Reels. Just tell me 10 of those. Tell me 10 different Reels you saw today. Realistically, you probably couldn't. Because you're not really retaining any of that. You're just scrolling, and it's just killing your mind, trying to get that next dopamine hit. You're looking at it, and you're trying to make yourself happier. Maybe you're trying to drown something out. Or you're trying to, doom scroll so you can be avoidant. Maybe you are right now. You're being avoidant of that task, and you need to go fold your laundry and do something for work. And you go have a conversation you don't want to have. Maybe you don't want to get out of bed. But regardless, you're being avoidant of that. And through all this time, you're losing time. It's very valuable. It's precious. And you could be getting a lot done. And all this time you spend scrolling, you're just going to have to do stuff later. Man? Like, if you think about it, you're not really saving yourself anything. That project you have to do, that conversation you have to have, whatever you got to do, it's all going to be there. You still got to do it. Now you just got less time to do it. And when something that actually you want to do comes around, something that's worthwhile doing, now you might not be able to do it because now you got to go do this other thing that you don't really want to do. So, it's taking time away from you being productive. And even, aside from all that, all this stuff you're consuming, like I was saying, you're seeing all this stuff, and a lot of the time, you're seeing everything in the world from worldwide. 8 billion people, and whatever percentage of those people are posting all these millions upon billions of videos out there for you to see. You're gonna get promoted, the best of the best. Whoever you are, whatever you are, you're gonna see whatever happens to be, the very top stuff. If you really dislike, maybe you dislike your body, or you don't think you're good enough at something, and all of a sudden you're scrolling through, and a lot of this is probably just because, you're looking at all this different stuff every day that's like the best in the world. You're seeing all these like men that are like top bodybuilders, or you're seeing all these women that have like the perfect body, or you're seeing all these like incredible things, like these insane players, or you're gonna feel, you probably feel behind. So maybe you're like a sports player or something, and you're seeing these guys that, are like 12, 15, maybe even 16, whatever age it is, maybe probably younger than you or close to your age, that are so much better than you at this current moment, or they're doing these incredible things. You're thinking like, why aren't I there? Why aren't I like this? This he's like 16 years old, he's 18 years old, and he's doing this incredible thing, or he's doing, he's at this place in life. Or you see, especially people, their finances or their bodies or any of these things, you see guys are like they're like, I $3 million, made my first 3 mil, 18 years old, or, here's this brand new supercar that I'm driving along with my Rolex and my $1 million mansion and all these other things. But in reality, it's not really reality. Sure, maybe it's a truth for some guy out there, but that guy's one out of a billion, a million, whatever it is. And you just can't compare your chapter 5 or your chapter 10 to somebody else's chapter 50. You don't know anywhere that they've been. You don't know what their life story has been like. And it's like you're still just blatantly comparing yourself, despite the fact that you didn't grow up like they did. You didn't lead the same life as they did. You didn't lead the same choices or opportunities that they did. And a lot of these people, obviously they've worked for what they have, but you're seeing the best of the best every day on so many different fronts, scrolling through the social media feed, and you're thinking now that this is like the reality. This is, everybody's like this. You see, I could go through my social media, probably YouTube feed, for example, easily, and I could see 100 bodybuilders within an hour, probably, that are close to my age, and they're like jacked, they're shredded, they're bench pressing 315 for reps, or 405, whatever it is, and these crazy numbers, and all these insane, really successful, incredible people. But you just begin to think that that's like the normal, and the reality is it's not, because they're on a different chapter than you. And most people your age, or most people like this, they aren't like this. And it's so easy to assume and to think like you need to be like this person, and this person is the normal. I need to achieve this level. When in reality, you don't. You can work for it, yeah. There's nothing wrong with working towards something, but be happy with yourself where you are. Don't have that standard of, your chapter 10. Be happy with your chapter 10. Look at yourself and be happy with your progress. Don't look at your chapter 10 and then look at somebody else's chapter 50 and, you know, be dismayed and unhappy with yourself because you're not at chapter 50 yet, and chapter 50 is like the only place you'd be happy, right? No, it's not how it works. In fact, that person probably is on their chapter 50 and sees people at chapter 70 and feels the same way. So no matter how much you end up working, you're not gonna, it's a choice to be happy. It's a decision to choose where you are. You have to be happy with your place in life and be happy about your progress. Compare yourself to your old self instead of comparing yourself to other people. That's just one effect of that. But also, social media is very killing your mind because it makes you think all of these things, and you're thinking about them, not only of kind of like these different perspectives of people that, alter your image of reality. We're seeing all these things, like especially in your relationships or different things like that, and all these super like cute moments or perfect played out scenes. In reality, life isn't like that. Life isn't perfect. Life is it can go a lot of different ways, and it doesn't always play out perfect. It's pretty great when it does, but you just got to make the best of it however it happens. And you can't be upset when it doesn't always go perfectly. You just have to work with what it is. Excuse me. But also it just kills off your dopamine and makes you unhappy with like where you're at and normal things in life that should be, making you happy, like long-term goals, long-term things that don't just instantly you swipe and it makes you, just shoom, and all of a sudden your brain just, it's like all happy-go-lucky and, oh, this is funny, and then you repeat the process and you hope, which is a part of the reason it's so addicting. But, it's not the reality. So sometimes it's really good just to unplug for a while. I remember when you were a kid and, you went outside and, a lot of you didn't have this social media. You didn't have all these options. Your mom told you to go outside, and you went outside, and, that was the happiest. Now people get grounded and they get their devices taken away and told to go outside, especially as kids. It used to be you got grounded and you told you weren't allowed to go outside and you had to stay inside, which was like a horrible thing. Now if someone grounded someone, it's like, all right, stay inside, but you can still have your phone. Then most people would be like, oh, okay, especially kids or whatever, which is a big issue now. But go outside. Think about how you thought about things as a child, how unknown and how incredible everything was. Look at those clouds going by, and there was just the air on a sunny day just had this certain scent to it, and the sun felt different, and you were so aware of everything, and the grass had this smell, and you could look at the trees, and the trees were just, they just had this thing about them, and the bark, it felt so like incredible, just like touching everything, taking in all these visual things, learning, being outside in nature was just, because we were all born, with this brain that was unaffected by technology. We were all at this base once, and exploring all these incredible things outside, biking down the road, or just anything outside, or just exploring, just being in nature was an incredible thing. And now you look outside and it's like, oh, it's outside. It's like, oh, it's boring. But it's really not. You're just so immersed in your everyday life that you've forgotten to truly take a second and enjoy what nature and the world really is. So take a moment to just be unplugged, be outside. And this applies to, everything, not just nature, but relationships, education, all these things, there's a glass half full and a glass half empty to everything. Look outside, and the glass half empty can be like, oh, it's just outside. Oh, it's could be dirty. Maybe I don't know, maybe there's bees out there, you get stung by a bee, or, maybe it's boring, there's nothing to do out there, supposedly. The glass half full is that, there is a lot of things to do because people were doing things for thousands of years before modern day technology even existed, and there was a screen to stare at. Relationships, there's the glass half empty that, a lot of times they're not going to play out like, the movie scenes or the social media feed that a lot of people see nowadays. But the glass half full is that they're not going to play out like the movie scenes or the social media you see these days. There's an element to it that makes it unique because it's yours. And maybe it won't be that perfect thing that gives you butterflies or whatever, but it's your relationship and it's your opportunity to make something incredible, to live, and you have the choice to do whatever you want in that situation, and you have the choice to learn and to grow and to experience your own things. Because wouldn't it be a pretty boring world anyways if we all just lived the same way? And wouldn't it be boring if those movie scenes that were so perfect just happened to everyone? It was like a guarantee. No, life would get really boring that way if everything was the same, if there was no element of possibility, everybody led the same life. That's part of the whole reason life is worth living, because there's so much possibility and learning. And a lot of you guys, you don't think about it that way. You think, it's always, you don't look at the silver lining. You think about, oh, no, I don't know, let's take something really dumb, like, I don't know, I messed up my baking recipe. For this is an example, but like, I put too much flour in my baking recipe. Now my muffins are ruined. It's a terrible day. It sucks. End of the world. I just took all these times to make these muffins. The ingredients are ruined. Yada yada. Nobody wants these muffins. Muffins are terrible. What the heck? But on the other hand, now you're one step closer to making your perfect batch of muffins. Because it's just like that. That's how life works. In relationships, something goes wrong, it's an opportunity, it's an opportunity to make it better. It's an opportunity to learn. It applies to everything. Sports, life. That's how life works. There's a quote that's like, something along the lines of, a man who never made a mistake never learned anything. It's true, because mistakes, as much as they suck, are a guaranteed part of life. The more you make mistakes, oftentimes, the more you learn. Every time you make a mistake, it's a new opportunity to learn. It's a new opportunity to figure something out, to understand something. And through doing that, you can really build yourself in so many ways. If you never try, if you never take a risk, in anything, in business, in education, in sports, you're never going to get anywhere, because, there's always that opportunity. Yeah. I don't know what the percentage is. Let's say it's 50-50. 50-50. Yeah, maybe I'm playing basketball and I dribble, I try to, do a cool move or something. I mess it up, 50% chance I mess it up, 50% chance it works. Maybe I'm in a game. Okay, I messed up, I lost the ball. Maybe I lost my team a point. Something happened. But there's also a chance that I make that move, and now I just made a really sweet play, and I just impressed a lot of people, including my coach. Now there's a possibility that I go up. There's just, it applies like that to anywhere, pretty much. There's always a risk to everything, even if it's a small risk. Like baking muffins, for example. Yeah, if you follow the recipe, word for word, you'll probably make a decent batch of muffins. But maybe you just go off the rails a little. Maybe you experiment a little bit. Now you're learning. That's the beautiful part about it. That's just a little piece on life there, but get out there. Don't be so social media involved. Try even delete it for a while. What's the worst that can happen? Snapchat? What are you really getting out of those snap streaks anyways? I know that's a big one for you, a lot of you guys. If you can, just use iMessage. What are you really getting? This whole concept of a streak, it's there to convince you to keep using it and to give you that dopamine hit of, yay, you hit your streak, you made a new streak. There comes, as far as I'm aware, there's no benefit from them. Take a little break for a while. Try deleting Instagram, delete YouTube. Shut off your phone. Put your phone across the room maybe when you go to bed. Or even, if you have a hard time falling asleep, or if you have a hard time getting up in the morning, or you immediately want to grab your phone to watch YouTube or something when you wake up or before you go to bed, and you want to set that alarm, you want to have to get right out of bed, set your alarm, put it across the room. Then you have to get up in the morning, unless you are capable of sleeping through your alarm, and then I guess you need to get a louder alarm or find another way to wake up. But if you are able to wake up with that alarm, put it across the room, because then you're going to have to get out of bed to turn the alarm off. At that point, you're up anyways. You might as well stay up. Quick way to get out of bed in the morning. So, I just want to wrap this up by saying it's not a bad thing. Technology is a very helpful thing in life. But it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it is very useful. Use it. It is helpful. Instant communication. Calculators. Pronounced that wrong. All kinds of different stuff. Google. You literally have the world's knowledge at your fingertips within 5 seconds, depending on how fast you type. Which is an incredible thing, especially if you ask any person born before 1990 or 2000. Growing up, they had to go to the library or ask somebody or anything like that. Now you have maps, messages, Google, contacts, literally infinite possible ways to use it. But don't get too caught up in it, Don't get too addicted. Spend a little time off. Spend quality time with your friends, your family, everyone around you. Because in reality, you and they aren't going to be here forever. You only get one chance at life. You never get time back. Every second you spend, the 25 something minutes you spent watching this video, you're not going to get that back. And I hope this 25 minutes was a beneficial use of that time. If so, give me a like and subscribe. But you're never going to get that time back. So use it to your best advantage. And truly, I think, if you really ask yourself, do I want to hang out and scroll on my social media feed all day, or even for an hour or two, procrastinate? Would I really have rather just get that task done, or hang out with my family, or do anything you want to? I mean, you have free will. You have the freedom of the time. You're watching YouTube right now. You clearly have that time available to you. So go ahead and use it. Use it for something you want to do. You're free in this world. Your life is yours. Make something out of yourself. Go live. Live it to your best. Because we all only live once, right? So, normally I'd tell you to watch another video, but go ahead. Close the app. Go live. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Peace.